Okay, cool. Is everyone ready?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, so welcome to the Hustings, our first Hustings ever as a society. So this is quite an honour to be moderating such a momentous occasion. The format will be we start with a 5 minute presentation from each candidate. I'll sort of introduce the candidate very briefly, then the floor will be yours. Then after that, we'll take questions from the floor, and they can be either general questions or directed to each candidate. So anyone who's got any questions, just feel free to post them in the chat, or after everything's done, you can just say them out. So it's either way. So with that being said, I think the floor is yours. I think let's we start off in order of how it's written. If we want Josh Williams to open up, he's running for president.
Okay. Yeah. So I've actually got a couple of slides here, so I'll just get them up on screen quickly. Okay. Can you all see this? Okay. And you can hear me clearly? Okay, I'll begin then. So yeah, these slides are really gonna talk about both who I am as a person and why I think I fit this role quite well, and also my plan for Genetic Society for next year. So I'm going to start off by talking a bit about why I'm running, which really has to do with the enjoyment I've found and the experiences I've had at Genetic Society this year already. I've really enjoyed getting to know all the committee members, and the events have been greatly entertaining, and I've learned so much. And I really want to help build up the society from where it started here to next year, and build really a lasting community. So secondly, a bit more about me in general. Well, I'm studying genetics currently at genetics specialism, but I intend to specialize further in computational biology next year, although of course that has a genetics aspect to it. Um, Next, I thought, well, maybe I'll talk a bit about my specific interests, because I really like plant and crop science, and this might be evident in my blog where I talk about it quite a lot. But I've got a polytunnel project currently ongoing, which you can see I'm standing in the polytunnel on the left-hand picture, and that's a peach and apricot tree. So I'm really hoping to grow that over the summer. So in terms of my past leadership experience, I've been fortunate enough to have quite a lot. Most recently, of course, I've been the education officer for the society. And this has given me a really strong understanding of the different committee roles within GenSoc, as well as the general organization of the society. And furthermore, my blog has attracted many visitors, over 150, which has really drawn new people to the society. Secondly, I have previous experience leading teams, both in school in the Whipworm Genome Project, which was a project, a genome annotation project, where I had to teach students of my age, and we were the second highest performing team, completing more than 1,000 annotations. So I'm a high performer. And secondly, I was a prefect and leader of the school bio society, and this involved organization of regular meetings, and also importantly, it involved collaboration with an external body, namely a teaching body, which I think compares quite nicely to the interactions I'll be having with the Students' Union if I'm elected. Okay, so this is more about the strategy I have for GenSoc going forward, and I really wanted to break it down into 4 areas. The first of these, as you can see, is the dedicated online tools. Being at home and online so much these days, I think it's important to have a place where we can direct new and possible members to the society. And I think a website would be a really good example of this. Secondly, a Discord server would enable communication both between members as well as between members and the committee. And there could additionally be a separate channel for committee members to discuss, which might lift the burden off the Facebook group. So that ties in quite nicely to the committee efforts. I really want to coordinate these to create an efficient plan going forwards. And I want to hold committee meetings, which will allow us to effectively plan out event timetables, kind of get a grip of what's going on in the society at that time. The third point I'd like to focus on is kind of attracting and retaining new members. A real key aspect of this society is that it's going to need to grow over the next year. This year was the first year. We had some great successes, but we need to continue to grow into the next year. And I want to encourage socials, which will allow new members to become more of a community. So not just the genetics side of things, which of course the society will focus on, but also building friendships and just providing a place for people to come together. And finally, which is perhaps my most ambitious aim for the society, is I want to integrate it into a wider network of bioscience societies. I think that the members of other bioscience societies will also be interested in the work that goes on here, as will we be interested in their work. And I think collaborating with them will allow members to be shared across societies, and it'll increase engagement with all societies for the benefits of both the students and the organizers. So yeah, that's, you can see I'm highly prepared. I've thought this through. I've got good experience, and I really hope you will vote for me for your president of GenSoc next year. Thank you very much. I shall now stop sharing.
Thanks very much for that, Josh. It's a strong opening. Set the stage well for the rest of the hustings.
Thank you.
Right. So next, we've got sorry if I mispronounce your name, just you can tell me off for it. Nishika, who's running for president and vice president. So the floor is yours.
I'd like to share my screen. Can you see it? Yeah. Hi guys, my name is Nishika, and I am running for the positions of president and vice president for the Genetics Society this year. Just as an introduction, I am currently a second-year genetics student. I personally think genetics has the power to revolutionize life as we know of it today. And I am very interested in molecular genetics and the fledgling field of nutrigenetics. I'm currently the social secretary for the Biology Society, so I know all it takes to run a vibrant and diverse society, just like this one. I'm familiar with the task of delegating, and I work well in a team, which I believe are important qualities to successfully lead a society. Given that everything was online this year, I organized several online events, such as game nights, pop-up quizzes, breakfast club, and many more events, and even collaborated with other UCL societies to expand our reach. I've also been an integration ambassador for the past 2 years, and I'm always left fascinated by the wealth of knowledge each one of us possess. Let's come together and celebrate this wealth of knowledge, and yes, make our very own Darwin proud. If I do get elected for any of these roles, I do hope to do a number of things. So I have been a science and technology columnist at Pi Magazine and a scientific writer at Kinesis. So I understand how crucial, but a little bit of a headache science writing can sometimes be. To ease out this entire writing process, I hope to organize events from excelling science communicators and writers. I also hope to host events, hopefully in person this year, with genetic pioneers and celebrate UCL's impeccable genetic research output. I aim to increase the society's social media presence and also collaborate with several other UCL societies so we can become an even bigger and better society. I do have a lot of expertise in advertising, which I'm sure can help. Having completed an internship at IQVIA and doing another one at UCL this summer, I am aware of the amount of sweat and toil the entire application process can be. So I think getting a little bit of help in this area can be more of a blessing. Near the internship period, I hope to have informal seminars with students that have successfully completed an internship to get small tricks and tips to land your dream internship. I also hope to be inclusive for all of those who love genetics but don't see it as a potential future career. Fun genetic themed pub quizzes, because who doesn't love to get drunk and talk about genetics, and an occasional breakfast club so we can all come together and challenge our thinking. Lastly, for all those that do have a little bit of entrepreneurial hunger to them, just like I do, I think it'll be very interesting to bring in speakers from biotech startups or pharmaceutical companies and try to understand the journey that they embarked on. All in all, I believe in the true power of teamwork, and I'm open to ideas about different events that we could potentially organize. I hope to serve as your next president or vice president, so we can all come together and celebrate our passion for genetics together. Thank you.
Kush, you're on mute.
Sorry, my bad. Sorry. That was, yeah. Sorry for the unprofessionalism. So next up we have Yana, who's running for a whole host of committee positions. So the floor is yours.
Okay, I'm just going to share my screen. Okay, so this year I'm running as president, vice president, and outreach officer for the Genetics Society. My primary interest in genetics is that I'm a biochemistry major, and my aim is to further genetics, but also my passion and interest in genetics have allowed me to do internship, volunteering positions, but also interact on a regular basis with researchers and leaders in the field. Also, as the outreach officer of the Immunology Society, which is also a new society as the genetics, I was able to plan 5 events, invite a Nobel that is going to come in June, and also a few other prominent leaders in the field. While the Genetics Society so far has not organized a single event because of the lack of leadership in the society. So this is kind of my action plan that I want to implement during the time I'm a leader at the Genetics Society. So basically by March, I want to establish all social media platforms, including the website, the Instagram feeds, and help the current committee establish these. By April, I want to create bi-monthly committee meetings as in most UCL societies, in order to meet all the members, meet the committee, old and new, which are going to, as an alumni mechanism, but also by May, I want to brainstorm and help the current committee do a great end of the year online social event. Collaborated with several other societies, which I currently know the leaders of and have collaborated before, such as the Neuroscience Society, or the MedTech, or even immunology. And I want to establish long connections and promote the UCL, promote it on the UCL Bioscience Society, but also among the staff, because I find that a lot of the staff members in UCL are not aware of the many societies and the ways that they can contribute. Throughout the summer, I'll personally or ask someone to contact several leaders in the genetics field, from Nobel Prize winners to startup companies. I'll even contact the startup company I'm working at is Tara Bioscience, which is chemical engineering and genetics, to create heart valves for various patients. And then hopefully by September, we'll have a society and a schedule that is ready to go and is able to have a great 21-22 academic year. Why I'm a good member, why I would be a good president for this society is that I have an extensive amount of research, but also leadership positions, from being a bioscience course rep to always coordinating between students and professors, but also being a published scientist in scientific journals, from constantly coordinating events, in the past, as in my previous position as outreach officer for volunteering in hospitals. I know the importance of leadership, and if this society doesn't have a strong leadership or a strong committee for the following year, I don't believe it'll have what it takes to expand and grow as other societies, because eventually medtech and those larger societies which are integrating more and more committee positions and more various other events are going to take up our room for growth, as they have already established a bioengineering and genetical engineering forum in their group. As a result, based on the action plan and everything, I believe I will be a good leader, and above all, I'm ambitious, so I want to see this society grow, and that's basically it. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Yana. That was a really good presentation. So next up, we have Sally, who's running for welfare officer. Sally, if you're, are you there? The floor is yours, Sally.
Yes, can you hear me? Cool, so sorry, my internet's kind of lagging, but yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't prepare a slide, but I think I just maybe go through some points that I would like to say. So hi, my name is Sally, you can call me Yanshu, and I'm currently in my second year and study pharmacology. So I was welfare officer of another society last year, and the Calligraphy Society. So I have been trained, and also I have experience in knowing when and how to raise an issue about a student's well-being or safety with the SSW and the student support and well-being. And also, as an international student, I understand it is very important to having a sense of belonging to the society, which can keep motivating the members to attend our events. So I would like to make sure that each of our members feel inclusive, and I am always willing to talk to anyone, anytime, if necessary, and am more than happy to be the person for approach when our members need help. So maybe then I can just signpost to them. And also, I have relevant life science backgrounds, as I have interned for different pharmaceutical companies during last year, the holiday. And I am fully aware that last year was full of challenges and the society has been newly established. So I would like to help the further development of the society, by making the environment more encouraging for everyone. Yes, thank you. That's all.
Thanks very much, Sally. So next, finally, but not least, we have, sorry, how do I pronounce it? Is it Matt Graffin? Mate Graffin?
Yeah, it's Matt Graffin, yeah.
Okay, cool. Sorry, yeah.
All right.
Matt Graffin is running for treasurer.
Yes. Let me just share the screen quickly. Like this.
No.
Hang on. There we go. So we'll just put this up. Okay. So hello everyone. I thank you all for being here. I'm standing here before you to run for treasurer of the Genetics Society next year. So before looking at my various manifesto pledges, I'd like to discuss my various committee positions, as well as the various hobbies I have, which would make me suitable for the role. So looking at my previous committee positions, I was a commercial awareness officer in my second year at university for the Law for All Society. And it was in this role that I was able to organize events And it was through this that I was able to interact with various functions of the student union. Moreover, as events officer for the UCL Law for All Society, I was responsible for maintaining good relations with the various sponsors we had, and it was my responsibility to work alongside these sponsors to organize interactive events, despite the fact that we had to adapt to unprecedented conditions. And it was this success I had with the different sponsors, which I hope to bring forward to my work as treasurer next year. Moreover, I have a good deal of knowledge which relates to the role of treasurer. I'm currently working with the treasurer of the Law for All Society to organize a boat pool for a date after lockdown. And it was this experience that enabled me to learn, but also demonstrate an aptitude for managing a budget and ensuring that costs will not hinder society in the short and long term. Moving on to my manifesto pledges, I propose 3 broad areas that I'll be looking to work on. First and foremost, it is vital to increase the total society budget in order to fund more interesting events. In order to carry this out, I'll reach out to a broad range of potential sponsors and create clear and cogent sponsorship options, which would enable potential sponsors to choose how much involvement they would have with the running of society. This would, of course, be designed to be independent of the running of the events, so as not to compromise the ethos of a society. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you all for listening, and I'll be glad to take any questions.
Thanks, Matt. I'm sure people will have many questions for you, but that was a great presentation. Thanks. So yeah, so that sums up all of our candidates. Thank you very much for preparing everything, and thanks everyone for delivering it so lucidly. I think you've given everyone a lot of food for thought. So there should be a close run election. Now we can open to the floor for any questions from the audience to any of the candidates, if anyone has anything to ask. No, I mean, I guess that's a good reflection on the clarity at which everyone delivered their presentations. So you can take that well. For the presidents, just a question for all 3 of you. I think a lot of you had a common theme in terms of merging your role with outreach, which I think is a good way to approach it. How exactly would you approach others to find speakers? Particularly, Nishika, you said biotech entrepreneurs. How exactly would you reach out to people like that? I mean, I think if you can answer first, because obviously the last bit's directed more towards you, and then the other 2 can answer after.
Yeah, so honestly, I have contacted many people in the past for the Biostock, and everybody seems very enthusiastic because it's a great way to reach out to people who are aspiring to be like you. So I think like what I initially did was contacted them via LinkedIn, and I was like, okay, we have an event happening, and would you like to, speak at it? And most of the times the response was pretty positive. So that's how I think I would bring in speakers. Yeah.
Cool. Jana, do you have because you've got a lot of cool.
So I usually reached out to many of these researchers and scientists because they want to also promote their work to the younger generations, also to get people on board in their research laboratories, because I find in some areas after a certain age, many of these researchers aren't as promoted because they're not following the media that well. So it offers them, if you just send an email with a long explanation showing that you have a general passion for their work, they're most likely to reply back. And also, I know top people, I have done research internship at Cambridge, and then they have recommended me to contact other people. Also, same thing that as in Columbia, I've done research, I know the staff, so it's they're more likely to give you connections and give you people that they know that are top leaders in the field. So that's the best way of approaching them.
Sounds good. Josh, if you want to say anything.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with Nishika and Jana, but I also think there is a promise in working through the society members, because of course there are only so many research individuals that we as leaders can contact or reach out to, or even just know in general. So I think asking the members to reach out to their own contacts will really broaden the scope of who we can attract to the society.
Cool. Does anyone have any other questions?
Yeah, I wanted to ask the three president candidates once again. Basically, how would you guys ensure a high turnout of people to the event? Like, do you have a plan or like set of actions in mind that you think you would act on?
We're in reverse order this time, so Josh, you can start.
Yeah, so I just wanted to go back to that network idea that I posed before. I think there are so many individuals spread across the societies that it's not a matter of people not being interested in joining the events. It's just that perhaps they aren't aware of them because they have chosen one particular or two particular societies in the bioscience kind of field. So I think that collaborating with those societies in a network fashion would really allow all of those members to access the events that we're putting on. And that should, I believe, that will increase the turnout to events and the general contributions of a wider range of members. Thank you.
Jana, do you want to go?
As Josh said, everything what it stands, but also I find tagging on like the social media and marketing, like a strong marketing plan, also helped promote like many of the new events in the Immunology Society. For like the first event, we only had a day's notice. We were able to have a turnout of 30 people. The following one, we had a turnout of 52 people exactly. So it's like just using the marketing tools that we have at hand, plus additionally creating a strong network, as Josh had mentioned. I think it's a good action plan, and also getting the members in the community to promote it to as many people as they know would be interested.
Yeah, I completely agree with what both of y'all have said. Also, like when I was working with the Biosoc, I realized that certain time, like the time when you post the event also really matters. So small things like that. So normally when you do post your events at around 5 to 7 p.m., we did notice that more people turned up because more people did see the post to begin with. So I think small things like that, and yeah, obviously collaborating with other societies would really help. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks very much. Any other questions? Okay, I am.
Wait, I have a quick question. For people who are applying to be president, like Josh, for example, in your presentation, you made quite a lot of emphasis on how it's going to be online and how you will promote and like do quizzes and things online. Have you considered the possibility that it's going to be offline and there are going to be less COVID restrictions? Because obviously it's quite hard, since both, I guess, first and second year of your time at university, you've spent doing things online. So how would you adapt to that? I mean, it's a question for all the like applying for presidents.
Yeah, Josh, please.
Yeah, definitely. I've certainly considered that, but I really came to the conclusion that at least a portion of the society will have to remain online indefinitely, because there will be a number of international students as well who perhaps won't be able to come back to the UK. So I think we'll really have to work out how we can, in that scenario, how we can organize both online events and use the online platform to encourage people to come to in-person events. And that will clearly depend on the restrictions, just the general state of play when we get to that time.
Jana, do you want to go next?
Yeah, so it's like we should have like both online presence and in-person presence, because for many international students, but not only for them, but it's like, let's say someone in the society miss an event. It's like they will want to have a recording of it if they want to like find out more information, but also A lot of like these top leaders or whoever's like guest speakers, they would also want to come in for many of UCL's events because they want to do also networking with the staff. So we also have to make sure to have a budget for them because it wouldn't be fair to not cover, like, I don't know, create a small token of their appreciation for these speakers that are coming into UCL. So we'll have to also work with the treasurer or of the society to take that also into consideration.
Yeah, so given UCL has like this impeccable research output every year, I feel it'd be great to have in-person events with genetic pioneers that are based at UCL. And I also think having face-to-face events with them really helps in terms of networking. But yeah, I would hope to have a good balance of both online and offline events. Thank you.
Thanks. Does anyone else have any questions? I have a question for the prospective treasurer. Is it Matt Graffin, I think. So I know you took a lot of emphasis on your previous committee positions. So clearly you've got a good campaign machine, and I've been really enjoying your campaign literature for this campaign.
Yes.
Would you would you be willing to use those graphic design abilities to work
You mean,
with?
yeah, the illustrations.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, we'll be releasing the illustrations throughout the year, hopefully, if I get elected.
Yeah, when you get elected.
Yeah, well, when, if, all the same thing.
Nice. So does anyone else have any questions? Okay, cool. I think that sums it up then. Thanks everyone for coming, and thanks particularly to the candidates for preparing and answering questions and working really hard to show your commitment to the society. And finally, best of luck for the week. Hopefully there'll be a good turnout for the election. I hope all of you get the positions that you want or are happy with the outcome. Cool. Well,